Well, evening everyone. Welcome to this week's pub quiz. Tuesday evening, 8 o'clock. Same rules as ever. So it's 5 rounds, 12 questions, quite quick fire. We'll do 3 rounds, then we'll have marking and a quick 5-minute break, and then the following 2 rounds. There is a minute at the end of each round as well, just to finalise any answers you're not too sure of. But I think without further ado, we'll probably get on with the quiz. And the first round this week is... Let's press the button. Sorry, there's the rules, just in case you've forgotten. I'm sure everyone's aware of them anyway. Pen and paper, 5 rounds of 10. I'll switch off the live chat now as well, just so there can be no conferring or no writing down answers there, but I'll pop that on in the 5-minute break just for you to put your scores. Quite a tricky quiz this week, so possible 60 points available, but I think a score of anything above 40 would be classed as a very, very good score. So yeah, as I say, first 3 rounds, then we'll mark those, then there'll be a 5-minute break, and then into the remaining 2 rounds. Last about 50 minutes or so. So the first round this week, you might have seen, is sport and leisure. And question 1 is, which country came top of the medal table in the 2016 Summer Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro? Which country came top of the medal table in the 2016 Summer Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro? First few questions, I'll just give a little bit of time just for people to get their act together. But as I say, there is a minute at the end of each round just for final conferring and final thinking. So question 2 in sport and leisure. Which country came top of the medal table in the 2018 Winter Olympics held in Pyeongchang, South Korea? So which country came top in 2018 Winter Olympics held in Pyeongchang, South Korea? And on to question 3. In international rifle events, what P, S, and K are used to describe the 3 positions? What do the letters P, S, and K stand for when describing the 3 positions? And then question 4 in sport and leisure. On the 31st of August 1968, what West Indian became the first ever batsman to hit 6 sixes in a single over in first-class cricket? 1968, who became the first batsman? Now, in each round, there is a bonus question, and the bonus question is some way related to question 5. And the bonus question for this round is, what year did her last singles victory at Wimbledon take place? What year did her last victory at Wimbledon take place? So 2 points for this when it comes to marking. There's a bonus question in each round. 2 points for the bonus questions in each round. But we'll go back to the single point questions. Question 6 in sport and leisure. In the board game of Operation, what object is located in the patient's stomach? In the board game Operation, what object is located in the patient's stomach? And then moving on to question 7 in sport and leisure. A squidge off takes place at the start of what indoor game? A squidge off takes place at the start of what indoor game? Okay, then we'll move on quite quickly to question 8. Remember, there is a minute's thinking time at the end of each round as well, should you be stuck on any of these. But question 8. Which card game derives its name from the Spanish word for basket? Which card game derives its name from the Spanish word for basket? Question 9, the second last one. What comes next in the following sequence? Red, blue, white, black, orange. In the sport and leisure category, what comes next in the following sequence? Red, blue, white, black, orange. And on to question 10, the final question in sport and leisure before we have a minute's thinking time. Just for you to finalise any answers. In which card game could you score 1 for his knob? In which card game could you score 1 for his knob? So as I say, at the end of each round, we've got a minute to finalise our answers, and then we'll be moving on to round 2. But we'll put a minute on the clock now, just for you to have a little bit of thinking time, and yeah, we'll see you in a minute. Okay, so that's a minute's thinking time over. It goes quite quickly, but that should hopefully give you enough time just to get at least some answers in for all the questions in round 1. But now we'll move again on to round 2. And round 2 this week is food and drink. And the first question in food and drink. Ribera del Duero is an important wine-producing area in the north of which country? Ribera del Duero is an important wine-producing area in the north of which country? Moving on to question 2. Again, there's a minute's thinking time at the end of these, so we'll go quite quick fire. You only get an ooh with which product, according to its advertising slogan? You only get an ooh with which product, according to its advertising slogan? And then on to question 3. What is unusual about the tomato-based soup known as gazpacho? What is unusual about the tomato-based soup known as gazpacho? Moving on to question 4 in food and drink. What term is used for a small piece of sautéed or rebaked bread, often cubed and seasoned? What term is used for a piece of sautéed or rebaked bread, often cubed and seasoned? Moving on to question 5. What fruit is the traditional filling of an Eccles cake? What fruit is the traditional filling of an Eccles cake? And then the bonus question that's related in some way to question 5 is, in what county is Eccles in? In what county? is Eccles Inn? Again, 2 points when it comes to the marking of these, so it's the same as every round. Bonus question, 2 points. All other questions worth 1 point, 60 points in total. I think a score of 40 plus this week would be very, very good. But do keep us posted on your scores as we go along when the live chat's back on at the halfway mark after the marking of the first 3 rounds. But we'll go back to the single point questions again. Question 6 in food and drink, single point question. A cocktail of Drambuie and Scotch whisky is known as what? A cocktail of Drambuie and Scotch whisky is known as what? And then question 7. Along with berries and their juice, what is the main ingredient of a summer pudding? Along with berries and their juice, what is the main ingredient of a summer pudding? And again, moving on quite quickly, going to question 8. What is the name of the French dessert consisting of choux pastry balls piled into a cone and bound with threads of caramel? What is the name of the French dessert consisting of choux pastry balls piled into a cone and bound with threads of caramel? Two questions to go in food and drink. Again, there's a minute's thinking time at the end if you're unsure on any of the questions currently. But question 9 is, meaning sweet milk in English, what is this soft blue veined Italian cheese? Meaning sweet milk in English, what is soft blue veined Italian cheese? And then the last question in food and drink before we have a minute just to finalise answers. Question 10. What is the term used to describe a dry champagne? What is the term used to describe a dry champagne? So that's the 10 questions over in food and drink. Again, we'll just have a minute on the clock now just to finalise any answers you weren't sure of before we come back into round 3. So a quick minute on the clock starting now. Okay, so that's back to the quiz. Hopefully that's enough time just to finalise any answers for the food and drink round. We'll go straight into round 3, which this week is World Heritage Sites. And this is the picture round. So in this round you'll be shown 10 World Heritage Sites. Simply name the site. There'll also be a bonus question in the middle as well, but we'll start with picture 1 and simply name the World Heritage Site. And the second one, again, simply name the World Heritage Site. And then moving on to question 3. Again, simply name that World Heritage Site. And question 4. Which World Heritage Site is that? As ever, there's a minute at the end of this round as well, just in case you weren't sure on any pictures. So it's just make a little note. If you're unsure on something, you can always come back and discuss that if you're playing in groups. But we'll go through quite quickly. After this round as well, we'll have a minute's break before we have marking of the first 3 rounds. And question 5. Which World Heritage Site is that? And then, as ever, there's a bonus question after question 5 that's related in a way to question 5. And for the World Heritage Sites round, the question is, how high to the nearest 10 metres is this monument from ground to top? From ground level to the very top. How high to the nearest 10 metres is this monument from ground to top? 2 points again when we come to marking these. No extra points if you know the exact height in metres, but to the nearest 10 metres we're looking. Okay, moving back to the single point questions. Question 6. Which World Heritage Site is that? And question 7. Again, simply name the World Heritage Site. Question 8, 3 to go in this round. Question 8 though, which World Heritage Site is that? Two to go in this round, before we have a minute's thinking time as well, just for final marking. Question 9, simply name that World Heritage Site. And the final question, question 10, in World Heritage, simply name that World Heritage Site. Okay, so we'll have a minute on the clock now just for some final workings out of this round, World Heritage, and also if you're unsure on any questions in the first 2 rounds, because after that minute we'll go into the marking of the first 3 rounds, get an idea of scores, and then have a quick 5-minute break just to grab a drink, stretch your legs, let the dog out, whatever you need to do, before we come back to do the final 2 rounds. But a minute on the clock now, just before we come back to the marking. Okay, so that's the end of the final minutes checking for the first 3 rounds. So now we'll quickly go into marking those first 3 rounds, get an idea of scores before we have a break. I'll go through these quite quickly, and remember, as ever, try and be lenient. If there's any spellings or anything that's slightly wrong, let's be lenient with this. At the end of the day, it's just for fun. So if someone looks like they've got the answer right, then let's give them the points. Let's not be too precious about spelling and things like that. So back to round one, which is sport and leisure. The first question: which country came top of the medals in the 2016 Summer Olympics? That was the USA. USA got 46 golds. UK came second with 27. Question 2 was: which country came top in 2018 Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang in South Korea? The answer to that is Norway. Norway came top. Now, they got the same amount of golds as Germany, if anyone put that, but Norway got more silvers, so they came top of the table. Question 3: in international rifle events, what do the letters P, S and K used for the 3 positions? That is prone, standing and kneeling. Prone, standing and kneeling. I think I need all 3 of those for the points, I'm afraid. No half points. Question 4: in 1968, what West Indian became the first ever batsman to hit 6 sixes in a first-class cricket over? That was Sir Gary or Sir Garfield Sobers. Garfield Sobers, playing for Nottinghamshire then. Question 5: how many times did Martina Navratilova win the Wimbledon ladies singles title? She won it 9 times. 9 times, which is 2 ahead of Serena Williams at the moment. And then the bonus question, and that: what year did she win her last Wimbledon's singles title, women's title? That was in 1990. 1990, when she beat Zina Garrison. 2 points if you get the bonus question right on that. All other questions just for a single point. Back to the single points then. Question 6: in the board game Operation, what object is located in the patient's stomach? It is a butterfly. Butterflies in the stomach. So butterfly is the answer. Question 7: a squidge off takes place in what game? That is Tiddlywinks. Squidge off is the start of Tiddlywinks. Question 8: which card game derives its name from the Spanish word for basket? That was canasta. Canasta. Question 9: in sport and leisure, what comes next in the following colour sequence? Red, blue, white, black, orange. Well, it's colours of jackets in greyhound racing, so the next one would be black and white. Black and white. That's the first 6 colours of greyhounds in jackets in greyhound racing. After that, you would have green and white for 7 and pink for 8 if you had more than 6 runners. But the answer we're looking for was black and white. And then the last question, question 10, in sport and leisure, in which card game could you score 1 for his knob? That is cribbage. Cribbage. So that's round 1 over. It's possible 12 points for that, but we'll go straight to the marking for round 2, which was food and drink. The first question: Ribera del Duero is an important wine-producing area in the north of which country? That's in the north of Spain. The north of Spain. Question 2: you only get an ooh advertises what product? It advertises Thai-Fu tea. You only get an ooh with Thai-Fu. Founded in 1903. Question 3: what is unusual about the tomato soup known as gazpacho? Well, it is served cold. Gazpacho is served cold. Question 4: what term is used for a piece of sautéed or rebaked bread, often cubed and seasoned? That is a crouton. A crouton. Question 5: what fruit is the traditional filling of an Eccles cake? That is traditionally a currant. Traditionally currants. And the bonus question related to that, 2 points as well for this one. Remember, what county is Eccles in? Eccles is in Greater Manchester. Eccles is in Greater Manchester, in the metropolitan borough of the city of Salford, if you want to go a bit closer, but it's in Greater Manchester. 2 points for that, if you got that. But back to the single point questions. Question 6, a cocktail of Drambuie and Scotch whisky is known as a rusty nail. Rusty nail. Question 7, along with berries and their juice, what is the main ingredient of a summer pudding? Well, that is white bread. White bread. Question 8, what's the name of the French dessert with choux pastry balls piled into a cone bound with threads of caramel? That's either a croque-en-bouche or a croque-en-bouche, E-N or E-M. So spellings on that, as ever, we're a bit lenient on, but croque-en-bouche, croque-en-bouche, anything similar to that gets the point. Question 9, meaning sweet milk in English, what is a soft blue-veined Italian cheese? That is dolce latte. Dolce latte. And then question 10, in food and drink, what is the term used to describe a dry champagne? That is brut. Brut. B-R-U-T. So again, 12 points available for that, so up to 24 so far, but one more round to go before we go back to having a break, and I'll put the live chat back up and you can pop your scores on, any comments. Round 3 was World Heritage Sites. Now, question 1, maybe the easy one, that was Stonehenge. Stonehenge, dating back to 3000 to 2000 BC, apparently. Question 2, that World Heritage Site was Auschwitz, Auschwitz-Birkenau, which became a heritage site in 1979. Question 3, that was the Taj Mahal. The Taj Mahal, commissioned in 1632. Question 4, that's the Giant's Causeway, also a World Heritage Site, the Giant's Causeway. Question 5, what was that World Heritage Site? It was the Statue of Liberty, Statue of Liberty. And the bonus question after that for 2 points, how high to the nearest 10 metres is this monument from ground to top? It is, well, in total, 93 metres. So to the nearest 10 metres, it's 90 metres, 90. But yeah, 93 metres from ground level to the tip of the torch. Back to the single point questions. Question 6, what the World Heritage Site there was the Great Barrier Reef. Great Barrier Reef, which stretches for over 2,300 kilometres. Question 7, again, simply naming the heritage site, that is Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu. Question 8, another World Heritage Site, this time it's the Acropolis. The Acropolis. Question 9, World Heritage Site pictured there was Blenheim Palace. Blenheim Palace, which became a World Heritage Site in 1987. And question 10, the last one in the round and the last one before we go for a break, that was the Atomic Bomb Dome, also known as the Hiroshima Peace Memorial. So either of those answers, Atomic Bomb Dome or Hiroshima Peace Memorial. So again, 12 points available for that, so that's 36 points in total. But I think what we'll do now is we'll have a quick 5-minute break. I'll re-enable the live chat so you can pop any comments on there. But a 5-minute break just so you can stretch your legs, have a drink, come back. But in 5 minutes' time, we'll have the following 2 rounds and then final marking to see how we go on. But 5 minutes on the clock starting now, and we'll see you after that. Okay, so there we go. So that's a quick 5-minute break over. Goes quite quickly. So we're into the last two rounds. As I say, it's quite a tricky one so far. Not sure if there's been some internet problems. It might be at my end. So it seems to be a few people having a few stuttery problems. Although YouTube reporting stream is healthy and excellent stream status. So I'm not sure what that is, but I can look into that after the event. I don't know if there's any analytics I can look at after. But apologies for that. But hopefully the question still comes up on screen, so you can get that even if you're not hearing me or if it's buffering or stuttering. But apologies for that if it is this end. But we'll go straight on with round four. Hopefully it's nice and stable. But round four this week is acronyms. Simply tell me what the acronym is that comes up on screen, quite quick fire. And we'll start with the first one, which is Ofsted. 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 What does Ofsted stand for? So again, there's a minute's thinking time at the end of these. So if you're just unsure, just write them down on the edge of the side of your paper. But some of these are quite long as well, so we've got a bit of time even just to write the actual wording down. Now on these, it's spelling's not so important as ever, but getting the right words are, obviously. But we'll go on to question 2 in acronyms, which is PDSA. What does PDSA stand for? So all quite straightforward again. Question 3, simply what does this acronym stand for? ADHD. ADHD. So a little bit of time just to write that down. The more letters, the more words, so a little bit more time to write these down. If you are unsure, just jot the acronym down on the side. You can always come back to that in a minute at the end. But the next acronym is, what is UCAS? What does UCAS stand for? And moving on to question 5. Again, simply, what does the acronym NASA stand for? What does NASA stand for? And then the bonus question in this round is related to question 5. What decade was this agency formed? What decade was this agency formed? 2 points, remember, for that one. 2 points for the bonus questions. But we'll go back to the single point questions. Question 6 in round 4 acronyms. What does AIDS stand for? AIDS. What does AIDS stand for? And question 7. Again, simply what does the acronym RNLI stand for? RNLI. 3 to go in the acronyms round. Question 8 is, what does the acronym SCUBA stand for? What does the acronym SCUBA stand for? So just 2 to go in the acronyms round. And question 9, second last one is, what does SIM stand for? SIM, as in mobile. What does SIM stand for? And then the last one in acronyms, question 10. What does the acronym ISBN stand for? ISBN. So again, we'll have a minute's thinking time now at the end of the round, just to finalise any answers you weren't sure of, any of those acronyms. Then we'll come back and do the 5th round before final marking. But a minute on the clock now before we come back into round 5. Okay, so that's the minute over for final writing down your acronyms. Now we'll go into the last round, round 5, which as ever is general knowledge. General knowledge. 10 questions to go in the round and 10 questions to go in the quiz. First one in general knowledge. Who played the title role of Columbo in the TV series of the same name? Who played the title role of Columbo in the TV series of the same name? Again, there's a minute at the end of this round as well to finalise any answers in general knowledge or the acronyms round, so we'll go quite quickly through. Question 2 in general knowledge. The artist George Stubbs is best known for painting what animals? The artist George Stubbs is best known for painting what animals? Question 3 in general knowledge. Tina Turner sang the theme song to which James Bond movie? Tina Turner sang the theme song to which James Bond movie? And question 4. In the book by Jonathan Swift, in which land did Gulliver meet the little people? In the book by Jonathan Swift, in which land did Gulliver meet the little people? Moving on, question 5, halfway through general knowledge. On what date is St George's Day? On what date is St George's Day? And the bonus question related to question 5, again 2 points when it comes to marking this, is which famous playwright was born and also died on this same day? Which famous playwright was born and also died on this same day? £2 when it comes to marking this. But back to the single points now. Question 6 in general knowledge. Single points when it comes to marking this one. On which motorway might lorries be parked as part of Operation Stack? On which motorway might lorries be parked as part of Operation Stack? Four questions to go. Question 7 in general knowledge. Which artist produced the animations for Pink Floyd's The Wall? Which artist produced the animations for Pink Floyd's The Wall? Moving on. Question 8 in general knowledge. Which Mexican food has a name that translates as Little Donkey? Which Mexican food has a name that translates as Little Donkey? So 2 questions to go in this round and the quiz. Question 9 in general knowledge is, from which musical does the song Memory come from? From which musical does the song Memory come? And then the final question, question 10, the final question in this round and the quiz. Prior to the euro, Germany's currency, the mark, was made up of 100 what? Prior to the euro, Germany's currency, the mark, was made up of 100 what? So again, that's the end of the quiz, and we'll have a quick minute's thinking time just to finalise answers on that general knowledge round, but also if you're unsure on any of the acronyms round, then we'll come back, mark the final 2 rounds, and see what the final scores were. We'll pop a minute on the clock now, and just for final checking before we come back to mark those rounds. Minute on the clock starting now. Okay, so that's the final minute's thinking time. Hopefully you've got an answer for those last two rounds, or all the questions and answers for the last two rounds. But we'll go into the marking of those now quite quickly. Another 24 points available on top of the original 36. So total score of 60 and is available. Anything over 40, as I say, should be a good score. Quite a tricky quiz this week. But we'll go through the marking now. Round 4 was acronyms. The first one was Ofsted, and that stands for Office for Standards in Education. Office for Standards in Education. Give it a second just to mark those, just to make sure. I'm sure there'll be some discussion about these as well, whether or not you're close or not. Question 2, though, was PDSA, and that stands for People's Dispensary for Sick Animals. People's Dispensary for Sick Animals. Question 3 was ADHD, and that is Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. Question 4, UCAS, that stands for University and Colleges Admissions Service. University and Colleges Admissions Service. Question 5, NASA. NASA stands for National Aeronautics and Space Administration. National Aeronautics and Space Administration. And the bonus question after that, for 2 points when we come to marking it, what decade was NASA formed? NASA was formed in 1958. In 1958, it was formed in the 50s. 2 points if you got that one. Then back to the single points. Question 6, what does AIDS stand for? AIDS. It stands for Acquired Immune Deficiency Syndrome. Acquired Immune Deficiency Syndrome. Question 7, RNLI. What does RNLI stand for? It's the Royal National Lifeboat Institute. The Royal National Lifeboat Institute. And that was founded in 1824, the RNLI. Question 8 was SCUBA, and SCUBA stands for Self-Contained Underwater Breathing Apparatus. Self-Contained Underwater Breathing Apparatus. Question 9, what does SIM stand for, as in mobile phones? SIM stands for Subscriber Identification Module. Subscriber Identification Module. And then question 10, what does ISBN stand for? It stands for International Standard Book Number. International Standard Book Number. So that finishes the acronyms round. Just give yourself a second just to mark some of those. And then we'll come into the last round, which is general knowledge. Again, a further 12 points here, and then we'll pop the live chat on for a little bit, just so you can pop any comments and pop your scores in. But the first question, general knowledge, who played the title role of Columbo in the TV series of the same name? That was Peter Falk. Peter Falk. He died in 2011. Question 2, the artist George Stubbs is best known for painting horses. He's best known for painting horses. Question 3, Tina Turner sang the theme song to which James Bond movie? That was GoldenEye. GoldenEye. Back in 1995 with Pierce Brosnan. Back in 1995. GoldenEye. Question 4, in the book by Jonathan Swift, which land did Gulliver meet the little people? He met them in Lilliput. Lilliput. Again, let's be lenient in any spellings here. Question 5, on what date is St. George's Day? That is April the 23rd. April the 23rd. The bonus question related to that, for 2 points when you're marking, which famous playwright was born and also died on this day? That was William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare. Question 6, back to the single points. On which motorway might lorries be parked as part of Operation Stack? That is the M20. The M20 down in Kent. Question 7, which artist produced the animations for Pink Floyd's The Wall? That was Gerald Scarfe. Gerald Scarfe. He's 83 years old and married to Jane Asher. Question 8. Which Mexican food has a name that translates as little donkey? That is burrito. Burrito. Question 9. From which musical does the song Memory come? That comes from the musical Cats. Memory comes from Cats. And then the last question in the round and the quiz. Prior to the euro, Germany's currency, the mark, was made up of 100 what? It was made up of 100 pfennigs. 100 pfennigs. And again, on spelling on that, if they're close to what it looks like, we'll give a point for that, I think. Let's be slightly fair. So if you want to just mark that round as well, and then mark the other round, which should have a total out of 60. I'll pop the live chat up now, just so anyone can pop their comments on. Yeah, that's the quiz over for this week. If you want to have a look on Twitter, you follow me there and get any information about any other quizzes coming up, or subscribe to me on YouTube. But that's the quiz for this week. Like I say, I'll leave the chat up now for a few minutes or so. Pop any comments on, and let's see if anyone's got above 40. Like I say, 40 should be a good score. And indeed, who might be the champion this week. But that's all for now. Hope to see you next Tuesday. As I say, I'll leave the live chat now, and I'll speak to you in a bit. All the best. Bye now.